All right, welcome back, guys. I'm on vacation from my my usual job this week, and so I'm taking that opportunity to get some work done around the property. And project that I'm working on this week is starting to build some fence around my yard. So I'm actually building what's called a top rail fence. Bought a bunch of drill pipe, 2 3/8 drill pipe, and we're cutting that for our posts. We'll have a post every 10 feet and cut and cope those posts, and then we'll sit a pipe on top of that, on top of those posts, and that'll go completely around the property. And then finally we'll come back with some field fence and install that field fence that'll help keep the critters out and our pups in. But yeah, just kind of wanted to show you how we're doing it. There's a lot of different ways to cope pipe. We do one a little bit unique because we don't have a torch, so we're kind of stuck with a method to cope these things that is a little bit unusual, but it works really well. And then yeah, again, just kind of show you guys how we're building this guy. So the first thing we had to do was set the corner posts. So I've got one set here. They're dug in about 24 inches. And I've got another one down there. And so we got those set. I'm going to run a string line that'll give us our straight line that we're going to need to follow for all the other posts in between. We're going to do a post every 10 foot in between. Okay, so we got our holes drilled to the right depth. Every 30 foot, I'm going to be concreting in tonight while I still got some light, concreting in some of the posts every 30 feet. Reason why 30 feet is because my drill pipe, they're about 32 foot. So that allows me to tie one side end to this end post down here, rest the other end of that pipe here. I'll cut that to the length so it meets right in the middle of this pipe. That way the next 30-foot pipe butts up to it inside this this cope right here that I've cut. So what I'm doing right now is just getting this concreted in. You can see I've got the string line that's perfectly just barely touching that string line. It's plumb, so I'm going to go ahead and get some concrete in here, and then I have to align this cope to my end post. I'll show you guys that here in just a sec. So this is what I'm talking about. So I've got my pipe plumb here, concreted in. It's still wet. That's my end post pipe, and so this is the cope I'm talking about here. So I need to get this, you know, basically lined up with that post on the other end, because if you think about it, I've got a top rail pipe that's going to come in and it's going to sit kind of like that. I still have to kind of miter this out a little bit, but so it's important that that be in line with that post. So you can either try and eyeball it this way, yeah, looks good, or you kind of get that set in the middle, and you can use this to gauge if you're dead center. It's kind of hard to see through the camera lens here, but that's kind of the methodology I'm using. Sure, there's other methods out there, but that's what I'm using to make sure that these posts are properly plumb, in line, both the base concreted in, and then also making sure that that coping is lined up. Let me show you guys how I cope pipe, since I don't have a torch. Thank you, cutting torch. I coat pipe a little bit differently, but I mean, honestly, it works, and I don't know. It may be actually a little bit easier in my opinion, but so just kind of show you what I do. I basically take and I bisect the pipe in half, put a little mark on the top and the bottom of both ends, and I've got this saw here. This is a low RPM saw. It's got a metal blade on there, not an abrasive blade. It's actually like a metal blade, which is pretty nice because it cuts really fast and not a whole lot of spark, and makes a really crisp, clean cut. So I basically take and I set my angle here at about 33 degrees, and I align the marks up and down. I line those so where they're perfectly up and down on that saw blade. I want just to barely touch this end right here, and it's going to cut a 33-degree angle here. I'm going to do the same on this side, 33-degree angle there, and it actually makes a pretty nice little cope. And this is the end result. It's not perfect. I'll come in here and clean this up a little bit with a grinder. Probably 20 seconds worth of work. It took me, I don't know, maybe a minute to cut this. So, probably just as fast as cutting with a torch, and a lot cleaner of a cut, and it works. And for a guy that don't have a cutting torch, this is my only option, but it's a pretty good one. Let me show you guys what we did yesterday, mainly, a little bit of the day before. It took about 1.5 days to get this long stretch done here on the side, but you can kind of see what it is that we're building. This is what they call a top rail fence. So you've got a post on either end that I've capped, like the one here on the right, and then all the subsequent posts in between. The pipe actually rides on the top in a little saddle that I made. Take you guys, and I'll show the entire length of section here, but this is one end post. As you can see, I've got this top rail kind of fitting in here on the side, so I had to cut and cope that and cap the top here, so both ends will look pretty much like this, and then every section in the middle, that pipe just rides that top saddle. Okay, so I got my my end posts set and the 30-foot posts set. I gotta let those cure for a little bit before I start throwing up some of the top rail and getting welding, but figured I'd take a quick video here. So these posts, again, where I'm setting them every 30 feet is because that top rail is about 32 feet. I'll cut those to length, and I want that the end of that top rail to come right here in the middle of this little coping valley, and it'll be tied into the side of the end post, and I'll put a little top cap on the end post. So I've got that all set every 30 feet. I've got my gate posts set. I'm going to be getting a 4-foot walking gate. So you'll be able to walk out of the backyard through this gate, go down to the creek or wherever else in the property. So those are set at about 49 inches wide. Give me a little extra play on either side for that that fence, or that gate, I'm sorry. But yeah, I've got those set, and down a little bit further down, that's the end post. So let's let these dry for a little bit, and then I can start throwing up some top rail. So while we waited for the concrete to dry, we finally were able to get out and trap that big old beaver that was chewing up our trees around our pond. So I got him skinned and caped out, and he made a nice little pelt to add to the collection here. Here comes Anna's calf. We also had the weaned calves, which is always fun. Get in there, Bubba. Fantastic. No, it's not fun. But needed to be done.
Get in there,
this
Bubba.
Is Anna's calf. This big dude weighed in at around 5 pounds.
Get in there.
Big old boy.
Give me a little zap.
So we waited until the next afternoon once the concrete was cured, and came back out. So you can see we started this top rail. And today I got some help from my dad and my nephew Logan, who's learning how to weld, so he's all suited up. Getting after it. This is what we got done so far in the backyard. Probably about 3/4 of the way complete. We've got 2 more sections, 30-foot sections there. So we got 2 more 30-foot top rails to install, 4 posts, and the backyard will be done. Unfortunately, I've got to go out of town for work this week, and we got Thanksgiving coming up, so it's probably going to be a week or so before I'm going to be able to get back after this. But knocking that out is a quick Saturday for me, and then we'll be completely done with the front and the back. The rest of the house, we got the 2 side yards. I got to wait until all the construction is done, because they've got some equipment that needs to be able to move around the house, and where I'm going to put that fence in the back is going to be a little bit too close for that equipment to be able to get around. So unfortunately, I got to wait until all that is complete, and then I can take some time and do the side yards and be completely done. And then it'll be time to throw on that field fence, and then we'll be all set. And I know a lot of y'all have been asking or wondering where we're at with the house build. So I'm going to do a separate video on that, but just a quick preview of what's done. Metal pretty much done on the exterior. They've got some corners to put in and just some trim pieces, but metal's done. Windows are in, doors are in, electrical done on the inside rough end, plumbing rough end done. Getting pretty close for having the spray foam guys come out. AC guys come out on Monday, do all their rough end, and then we should be ready for the spray foam. Then once spray foam, that's going to take 4 or 5 days to do, and then drywall guy comes in. That'll take him a few days to hang, tape float, texture, drywall, and man, we're getting close. But yeah, that'll be a separate video. Just want to give you guys a quick preview on where we're at so far.